When we talk about valuing yourself, the very first step is recognizing your inner worth. And this isn't just a motivational line, it is a truth that shapes the direction of your entire life. The problem is, most people walk through life unaware of the treasure they carry inside. They let the world define them. They let the noise, the comparisons, the criticism, and the judgments overshadow who they really are. But you were not created to live according to someone else's opinion. You were created with purpose, with uniqueness, with strength that cannot be duplicated. And until you see that worth within yourself, you will always live below the level you were meant for. Your worth doesn't come from your past mistakes, your failures, or the labels people put on you. It comes from the potential that has always been inside you. There is something about you, your mind, your heart, your resilience, your creativity, your ability to rise that is rare. But here's the reality. Your value will remain hidden until you decide to honor it, until you decide that you are done shrinking yourself just to fit into places where you were never meant to fit, until you decide that you are done letting doubt poison your potential. The moment you choose to value yourself, everything begins to shift. Your decisions, your relationships, your standards, your goals. When you know your worth, you stop chasing people who don't appreciate it. You stop settling for things that drain your energy. You stop giving your time and heart away to places that don't deserve it. Recognizing your worth is not arrogance. It is awareness. It is understanding that you matter, that your voice matters, that your dreams matter, and that your presence makes a difference. Too many people wait for others to validate them. They wait for approval, for applause, for someone else to say, you are enough. But the truth is, the world treats you the way you treat yourself. If you keep doubting yourself, the world will doubt you too. If you keep underestimating your abilities, the world will do the same. But the moment you begin to carry yourself with confidence, the moment you show up knowing that you bring value to the table, the world responds differently. Opportunities start opening. People start noticing. Life start moving in your favor, not because something changed on the outside, but because something changed inside you. You must also understand that valuing yourself means protecting your energy. It means setting boundaries. It means being honest about what uplifts you and what destroys your peace. It means knowing that you deserve respect, growth, and love, not as a reward, but as a birthright. When you know your worth, you begin to choose better, not because you are picky, but because you finally understand what you were made for. And if there is one truth I want you to hold on to today, it is this: your life will rise to the level of the value you place on yourself. Value yourself because your future depends on it. One of the biggest reasons people lose focus in life is because they allow their emotions to make their decisions for them. And emotions, no matter how strong they feel in the moment, are temporary. They change. They rise and fall like waves. But your purpose, your direction, your calling, those things stay constant. The problem is when you let your feelings take control, you start drifting away from your plans. You wake up motivated one day and lazy the next. One moment you're excited, the next you're discouraged. And in this cycle, your dreams begin to fade. Not because you lack talent, but because you lack emotional discipline. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful had to learn. Your emotions are not supposed to be your masters. They are supposed to be your signals, your indicators, not the drivers of your life. You can be hurt and still move forward. You can be tired and still stay committed. You can feel fear and still take the people who win are not the ones who feel confident all the time. They are the ones who act even when they don't feel like it. They train themselves to show up regardless of mood, regardless of frustration, regardless of doubt. That is what separates progress from stagnation. Think about how many times you quit something not because it was impossible, but because you were overwhelmed by temporary feelings. You felt discouraged, so you stopped. You felt unappreciated, so you withdrew. You felt anxious, so you avoided the challenge. But imagine how far you would already be if you had stayed consistent even when your emotions were not supporting you. Progress is not built on emotional comfort. It's built on stability, on commitment, on choosing what is right over what feels easy in the moment. You must learn to pause before reacting. You must learn to breathe before making decisions. When emotions rise, thoughts become cloudy. And when thoughts become cloudy, decisions become damaging. How many opportunities have been lost because someone reacted in anger? How many relationships have broken because someone couldn't control their ego? How many dreams have died because people listened to fear instead of courage? Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It means understanding them and refusing to let them control the direction of your life. When you break free from emotional distractions, you step into clarity. You begin to choose differently. You save your energy for what actually matters. You protect your focus like a shield. And the moment you take control of your emotions, you also take control of your future. Because a focused mind, a disciplined heart, and a steady commitment can overcome storms that emotional reactions never could. So choose to act from purpose, not from temporary feelings. Your destiny deserves that level of discipline. Discipline is one of those things everyone talks about, but very few truly build into their lives. And the reason is discipline is not exciting. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. Discipline is quiet, consistent, and often uncomfortable. But it is the foundation behind every life that rises, every dream that becomes a reality, and every person who transforms themselves from average to exceptional talent. Can open doors. Motivation can start the journey, but only discipline can take you all the way to the finish line. Most people wait for motivation to show up before they take action. They wait for the right time, the right feeling, the right mindset. But the truth is, if you spend your life waiting to feel ready, you will stay stuck exactly where you are. Motivation may come to you once in a while, but discipline is something you choose every single day. It is the habit of saying, I will do what I need to do even when I don't feel like doing it. And those who embrace this truth become unstoppable because consistency multiplies results. Think about it. Your life is built on your daily actions. Not the big things you do once a year, not the promises you make on special occasions, but the small, ordinary things you do every single day. Waking up on time, setting aside distractions, honoring your commitments, practicing your craft, finishing what you start. These habits seem small, but together they build a person who can achieve anything they decide to pursue. Small disciplines create big transformations. And the beauty of discipline is that it builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your identity. You begin to believe in your own abilities. You begin to trust your own word. You begin to see yourself as someone capable, someone strong, someone worthy of a success. Most people struggle not because life is hard, but because they cannot trust themselves to follow through. But when you build the discipline, you rebuild that trust from the inside out. There will be days when you feel tired, days when progress feels slow, days when no one is noticing your effort. But discipline teaches you to keep moving anyway. It teaches you that you are not working for applause. You are working for transformation. You are shaping a future version of yourself that will thank you for every bit of effort you put in today. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about consistency. It is about showing up with what you have and giving your best, even if your best looks different each day. And the truth is, once discipline becomes a way of life, everything else becomes easier. Your goals become clearer, your mind becomes sharper, your focus becomes stronger, and your growth becomes inevitable. Discipline turns dreams into plans and plans into accomplishments. Choose discipline because it is the bridge between who you are and who you are destined to become. One of the most powerful decisions you will ever make for your growth is choosing the environment you allow around you. People often underestimate how deeply they are shaped by the voices, attitudes, and the energy surrounding them. You can have a dream stronger than mountain, but if you live in an environment filled with doubt, negativity, jealousy, and small-minded thinking, those dreams begin to shrink. Not because they aren't possible, but because negative energy slowly drains your belief in yourself. And belief is the fuel that keeps your journey moving. Negative energy doesn't always come loudly. Sometimes it comes quietly through subtle discouragement, through people who laugh at your ideas, through those who constantly remind you of your failures but never celebrate your efforts. Sometimes it comes from people who are close to you, people you care about, people who don't understand the vision you carry. And if you're not careful, their words become your inner voice. Their limitations become your mindset, and their fears become your boundaries. You must learn to protect your space. Not everyone deserves access to your mind, your emotions, or your time. When you are growing, when you are building something meaningful, you cannot afford to be surrounded by people who pull you down while you're trying to climb up. Growth requires energy, and negativity steals that energy faster than anything else. It distracts you, it drains you, it confuses your direction. And sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is walk away from environments that no longer support who you are becoming. Surround yourself with people who push you forward, not hold you back. People who challenge you to think bigger. People who inspire you to become better. People who celebrate your progress, even if it's small. People who remind you that you are capable when you doubt yourself. When you choose the right environment, everything inside you begins to rise: your confidence, your clarity, your discipline, your focus. The right company speaks life into you, not fear. They don't just see who you are, they see who you can be. And often, distancing yourself from negativity isn't about hatred or anger, it's about self-respect. It's about valuing your peace enough to remove anything that threatens it. It's about valuing your future enough to disconnect from voices that try to keep you tied to your past. It's about valuing your purpose enough to say, I cannot stay in a place where I'm not growing. When you choose people who match your vision instead of your comfort, your life opens in ways you never imagined. Your mind becomes clearer, your heart becomes lighter, your goals become more achievable, your journey becomes more meaningful. The company you keep is one of the greatest influences on the destiny you create. Protect your energy, because your future is too important to be shaped by the wrong voices. One of the greatest traps people fall into is the desire to be perfect. They wait for the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect confidence, the perfect opportunity. And while they're waiting for everything to line up flawlessly, life keeps moving, time keeps passing, and their dreams stay frozen. Perfection feels like a high standard, but in reality, it is often an elegant form of procrastination. It convinces you that you are not ready yet, not good enough yet, not smart enough yet. But progress, steady, honest, imperfect progress has built more success stories than perfection ever has. When you focus on progress instead of perfection, something powerful happens. You start moving, you start learning, you start gaining momentum. Every small step becomes a victory. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every attempt becomes growth. People who chase perfection fear failure, but people who chase progress understand that failure is part of the process. They don't stop when they stumble, they adjust, they improve, they move forward. And that mindset is where transformation truly begins. Think about how many dreams are buried because someone convinced themselves they weren't perfect enough to begin. They had a gift, a skill, a passion, but they waited for flawless execution, and in the waiting, they lost their courage. The truth is, you won't master anything on day one, and you don't have to. Progress means giving yourself permission to grow, to develop, to be a beginner, to make mistakes, and still keep going. Progress honors your humanity, while perfection punishes it. Every meaningful accomplishment in life was built through stages, not leaps. Stages, levels, phases. No one becomes strong without lifting the first light weight. No one becomes successful without doing the work no one sees. No one becomes wise without making choices, learning from them, and making better ones. Progress is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It builds resilience. It builds character. It builds a foundation so strong that when the big opportunities arrive, you are ready not because you are perfect, but because you are consistent. When you shift your focus to progress, you stop comparing yourself to everyone else. You stop measuring your journey by someone else's highlight reel. You begin to see your own evolution, your own growth, your own improvements. And that fuels your confidence in a way perfection never can. Progress allows you to celebrate how far you've come while still reaching for where you want to go. And the truth is, progress creates results. Those small improvements, day after day, turn into habits, and those habits turn into breakthroughs. Before you know it, you're living at the level you once only dreamed of. Not because everything was perfect, but because you refused to stop moving forward even when the path wasn't clear. Choose progress, because it is the steady force that turns ordinary days into extraordinary outcomes. A clear and powerful vision is one of the greatest forces you can build inside yourself. When you have a vision for your life, you stop drifting and start directing. You stop surviving and start creating. A vision gives you something to wake up for, something to fight for, something to grow for. It becomes the inner compass that keeps you moving even when the road gets difficult. Without a vision, life feels confusing. With a vision, life becomes purposeful. You begin to understand that your future is not something you wait for, it's something you shape. A vision is not just a dream. It is a picture of who you want to become and the life you want to build. And this picture becomes the fuel that drives your discipline, your decisions, and your daily actions. When you know where you're going, distractions lose their power, temptations become weaker, negative voices become softer, life becomes clearer. You begin to rise above the noise because you are pulled forward by something greater than your present circumstances. But here's the truth. Most people never take the time to define their vision. They get busy, they get distracted, they get caught in routines, and they forget to ask themselves the most important question: what kind of life do I truly want? Without that clarity, they chase things that don't matter. They follow paths that aren't theirs. They settle for less because they never picture something better. But when you take even a moment to imagine your highest possible future, something awakens inside you. You tap into a deeper strength, a deeper purpose, a deeper version of yourself that refuses to settle. A strong vision doesn't require you to have everything figured out. It simply requires you to see the direction you want to move in. The details will come as you grow. The opportunities will come as you prepare. The resources will come as you prove your commitment. Vision is not about knowing every step. It's about knowing the destination. And once your destination is clear, every step begins to align naturally. The beauty of having a vision is that it gives meaning to your struggles. When life gets hard, your vision reminds you why you started. When you feel tired, it reminds you what you're building. When you feel discouraged, it reminds you that the version of you on the other side is worth every challenge. Vision keeps your heart strong and your mind focused. It turns obstacles into teachers and delays into preparation. And as you hold on to your vision, you begin to grow into the person who can carry it. You develop resilience, courage, discipline, and wisdom. You stop living by limitations and start living by possibility. A powerful vision doesn't just change your future, it changes you. It expands your capacity, strengthens your identity, and aligns your life with something meaningful, something fulfilling, something truly yours. Hold your vision close, because the future you see is the future you will build.